Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I wanted to film me painting and creating a new page in my sketchbook and kind of chatting with you guys about how you can create a new page on your sketchbook and how that can lead to sometimes a bigger piece or to another project. By the way, today is super cloudy as you can see, but I kind of love these days. I just want to chill in, grab a cup of coffee, and in this case, paint. So maybe grab yourself a cup of coffee, take out your sketchbook, and let's start painting together. So, for today's page, I didn't know at first what to do. That's why I took out those kind of pages and printed publicity they give you on the street. And my sketchbook has on the back a pocket where you can put things like that. So I took them out. Didn't work for me today. But in this page, I had a drawing exercise that I made earlier in my drawing class, and it was a really fun exercise. Our teacher made us close our eyes and think about the journey you take from your home to get to university, and you had to draw that journey like with a line from one corner to the page to the other corner to the page. Think about every single detail that happens in that journey. And I thought it was a really cool exercise. So, and I kind of liked the way it looked. I made it with pencil. So the camera, I don't think captures that line, but I wanted to paint on top of that. I'm using acrylic paint. What's wrong with me today? Acrylic paint, which I really don't like. It's kind of love-hate relationship for me with acrylic paint. But these paintings, this material is quite special to me. It was my grandma's. My grandma used to paint, so when she passed away, I saved those little pots of paint, and I really wanted to use them. I didn't know in what, and today kind of feel like using them, and I'm loving this color. It's a really pretty blue grayish cool tone, and I think it's really cute and kind of, I don't know, I like those tones, those yeah, I really like those types of colors. It kind of matches with the cloudy sky today, I guess. So as I was telling you, I wanted to paint. A while back, I made a bigger painting of a map, kind of Google Map capture of my house location. And then I painted the streets, and if you kind of zoom out the map just enough to see the streets, kind of like the little houses and stuff, it looks sort of small squares, and I play around with that idea, and I wanted to recreate something like that in here. So as you can see right now, I'm covering up the entire page. I wasn't really filling the small squares in this moment. I wanted more of a complete color on the page. So at first I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest. I was just kind of getting into it. But that's kind of the thing with creating, I think, in general. You can't wait for inspiration to hit you. You can't wait for one day to just wake up and feel inspired and create a masterpiece out of that inspiration. It doesn't work like that. And that was kind of one of the topics I wanted to talk about with you today, is that creating and wanting to work in the creative field. It takes time, it takes practice, it's imagining this creative muscle that you have to work on it and work it out every single day. So a sketchbook, I can stress enough how important is having a sketchbook. It's a really important tool because it's a safe place where you can make mistakes, where you can experiment. It's not meant to be showcased. I mean, I love watching sketchbook tours, and there's so talented people out there, but sometimes that idea of that it's something that you're going to showcase can be a little bit daunting, because then you feel that every page you make has to be perfect because you're going to show it, and the truth is you don't. So if some days, so maybe just try. I'm really trying to make this a habit to draw on my sketchbook or to do something in my sketchbook every day. Or at least being the more constant as I can, because you can learn a lot from that. It sort of becomes later on a visual reference for you. So in this case, I didn't know exactly what I was doing at the beginning. As you can see, I ended up painting the entire page right now. Then I painted sort of the road I first drew, and right now I'm making those squares that I was telling you of colors, and I wanted to play around with different hues and see how they all combined together and work together. So I think one of my tips of starting on your sketchbook page is just do it. Literally just sit down, open up your sketchbook, and start doodling. Sometimes even the first 2-3 doodles doesn't come out as you wish they were, or just making weird things. It's okay, that can lead to something. When I was making this, I had to think about of a project for a class, and it's a final project I'm going to be working throughout the semester. I'm thinking about documenting that project and blogging it, and at the end make a video out of it. Let me know in the comments down below if you would be interested in seeing that process. So when I was making this, I thought that I really like making these type of paintings, of playing around with colors, little squares, circles, and making sort of maps. So maybe my project can come out of this, and it was just a page and a sketchbook that began with an exercise at drawing class I really like. It's as simple as that. I didn't waited for inspiration to hit me. It just developed really natural. And that's kind of the thing. And that's basically how you start, I believe, a creative process. And it all begins with observation, in my opinion. A big tip for me is observing what do you like visually, because then you will have visual references, and those visual references can come from either Instagram, Tumblr, movies, an art magazine, regular magazines, going to art museums, art galleries. And by the way, in that moment I was lifting the sketchbook to see if the colors were right and how it was sort of working all together. Sometimes you have to take a step back from your painting to see how it is doing. Anyway, so going back to visual references is really important. In this case, my visual reference in this particular sketchbook page and the other drawing I was telling you is Paul Polisher is a great recognized graphic designer. There is a series in Netflix called Art of the Abstract, and one episode is it's about Polisher, so go check that out. It's really good series, and she makes these kind of maps, and I kind of took inspiration on her maps. I thought they were really pretty. Right now I am adding a bit of yellow hue. Most of the hues I'm using in this painting are neutral, meaning they're not really bright colors. They tend to be more on the grayish side. But I believe that tiny bit of yellow really pops in the painting and kind of helps everything work. So yeah, start making a collection of visual references. If you are scrolling through Instagram and there's some picture that really caught your attention, take a screenshot out of it, and then you can save it on a separate folder in your phone or your computer. Sometimes I like taking screenshots from movies, and also sometimes I use them as inspiration for other sketchbook pages. And as often as you do this, or even if you're just walking down the street and you see something that you really like, take a picture of it and put it in that folder. You're going to notice that the constant you do this, you find yourself with a bigger visual reference collection, and you're going to start seeing a pattern. And then I believe it's a great learning tool, because that way you're going to figure out what do you like visually. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be even wrapping a paper of a chocolate you ate that in that lunch break. Those little things that caught your attention are so important to keep a record of it. And my professor of drawing class just told me that, to have that sort of collection, because it becomes really useful for then creating a more defined art piece. So my last tip would be experiment, make a mess in your sketchbook. That's what it's for. If you want to try out a new material, try it out on your sketchbook and keep it the most honest. Make it as if there is no one you are going to show it to, because that way you avoid the pressure of having every page perfect because you're going to show it, and eventually I believe it becomes a really good tool, becomes a visual reference, because you have bits and pieces of things you like visually and thoughts, ideas, feelings you were having at that moment, and you can definitely build something out of that later on. So those are all my tips. I hope you like this video. I hope you find it helpful in some way or even inspiring. This is how it turned out. In the end, I use white paint to draw those lines, and I really think helps, and I put little swatches in there. So see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Look at her, she's so cute. Hi, sweetie.